Maiyegun today. Thank you so much for joining me again as, for the second time today, I would say. Read the caption of the broadcast this evening. Facebook. The description of the broadcast as well. And yes, like it, share it, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them that Maiyegun today. From what I have for you this evening, there are statements, right, from some unscrupulous element that are actually representing that contraption. From the zoo army, as some of my pals would love to call them. Nigerian army are now engaging in a social media spat with Asari Dokubo, a supposed ally of theirs. And then I am going to play back to you what Asari said, and then what is the response of the supposed Nigerian army. Remi Werepe, Remi Ahmed, Tifnumbu Rats. She has kind of come out to say, listen, I know a lot of you are going crazy right now in this contraption. But my husband is not responsible for your sufferings or your hardship. And you should take care of your mental health as well. And you can give him extra 2 more years. Share it. Thank you. Mutide, sorry for the late start again, right? So good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is Maiyegun Live. So this afternoon, the Nigerian army, sort of, because this is their spokesperson. Remember that video of Asari Dokubo, right? Where he said the Nigerian army sent 2 gun chopper, 2 helicopters to his house, hovering over his house because of the River State election, local government elections. And then they bragged that he's got what it takes. He has the capacity, that the Nigerian army knows that he has the capacity to face them, that they shouldn't provoke him. Let me play you their video. It was all in response to what he said, the overbearing attitude, the overzealous act of that of Wike on that fateful day. Do you remember this?
Our people, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. As we are talking,
with the video, I'm not doing the video. As I said in the video, that's the video.
Wike's soldiers, Wike's police, whoever, had been flying over my house and my compound in the last 30 minutes with 2 helicopter gunships. I have the capacity to contain them. Nigeria cannot surrender to Wike. Rivers people will not surrender to Wike. Ijaw people will not surrender to Wike. I have the capacity to contain them. And the government knows that I have the capacity to contain them, as I've been containing other people. Let them tell Wike to back off. I am 60 years old. I've never been afraid of death. I've always embraced death. I'd always embraced death. So I am not afraid of death. So all those who are there, when the helicopter is shot down, let nobody blame them. I didn't go and look for the helicopter to shoot them down. I will shoot down the helicopter. I will shoot down the helicopter. I swear by Allah that I will shoot down the helicopter. Whoever is commanding them should be warned that I will shoot the helicopter down. Enough is enough. That Tinubu will hand over River State into slavery. The Wike is nobody. Without this panaflexion, it's nobody. Wike is nobody. Let them remove this thing from him now. I think he has billions. He knows the market. He has bought guns for his men. Let them remove this thing from him. And let us see. Go and vote. I will go and vote. I will vote and you see me vote. Nothing will happen. We vote. Result will be announced. Chairman will be sworn in. And we will see. Chairman will be sworn in. And we will see. I don't want to talk too much.
Because it is what Nigeria has become. He happened to be a former terrorist, something that typical Niger Delta will always kind of disagree with me on, or they always do that. Maiyegun, don't say that. They are militant. They are not terrorists. Everybody that raise up arm in a normal country, sure you get, against the state, right? What they call them is non-state actors, right? And they are the local terrorists. In Niger Delta, a group of these kind of people like Asari and many like that, in 2000 and I think it was in 2008, sorry, 2007, around that time, they became very prominent in Nigeria, where local politicians harmed some young people. Like then, Asari was younger than this. I think he was probably in his early 40s. Maybe he was around 39, 40. No, it should be somewhere around 35, 36. Asari Dokubo. This Asari that is now like older guy is approaching his 60 now, right? So then Asari should be around, no, it should be around 35, 36, yeah, somehow. And there are many like that. So their grievances at the time was that they were exempted from the proceed, they are exempted from enjoying the proceed of their God-given resources. That's the crude oil. Listen to this very well. So because of that, for them to have share of that, they harmed themselves. The difference between them and the terrorists we later come to know in Nigeria is that they usually target the oil companies in their region. They would, before then, normally, they will go to all these oil companies. They will go and collect what is called security money from them. So the oil companies will just give them some peanuts. So yeah, take settlement money. That's what they were living off. Until when I can't remember the story of how they were taken to Abuja in 2003, or maybe 2003 or 2004. So they were taken to Abuja. And when they saw Abuja for the first time they all left Niger Delta, some of the young people. So they were told that I'm going to see this Abuja now, oil money that take build them up. What? Well, Asari Dokubo actually told me that himself though, because he used to be my friend. You don't think? So Asari Dokubo said that when they got to Abuja, as young people then, not these older guys now, they didn't have this much money then. They were so shocked. So they used oil money to build this Abuja. And we are living in Greek, we are living in squalor, in poverty. So when they returned back to the Greek, they kind of did their usual youth meeting because they have no job, no, proper education, no guarantee for the future, no nothing. They were just existing there like the normal Agberu that you stay in Lagos, collecting money, rent fee, like, we're older. If you don't give us money, you don't go pump oil this year, this today. So back then, Obasanjo, who sort of militarized the Niger Delta region, provided security for the oil companies. So the soldiers were always there. Then the local politicians, right, decided to harm them properly. So what they now did was like from junction, base by base, junction from Bayelsa to Port Harcourt, from Port Harcourt to Akwa Ibom, from there to, all these areas, sha. And Asari is from River State, okay? So he was able to put together his own guys too. Then, boom, when majority of them returned from Abuja, they formed their different groups and they just became notorious. Now, Asari happened to be one of the guys who was like slightly educated than others. So that gave him a leverage to be a spokesperson for some of them. But he's not as notorious as some of the deadliest, cultists and all that in Niger Delta at the time. So they started kidnapping the oil expatriates for money. They no longer wanted security money from them. Like, okay, just give them 200,000 naira. Oh, once they come, right, give them 500,000 naira. They will be fine. So they didn't want that anymore. They wanted part of the share of that money. Go. This time around, they would come on a boat, right? They will come on boats. They can come on like about a wooden boat with a speed machine attached. They will come on the boat like about 15 boats. 15. So they will take some of the oil expatriates. They will take them hostage. In the process, they killed civilians too. There were times that it was like a full day gunshot, gunfire, like war in the creek where some innocent people actually took bullets back then. But it wasn't like what you had later, where people would just go out and kidnap people for money. That you have in Nigeria now. No, their own targets were the expatriates. They will go on and just shut down the oil flow. Just pipeline taking crude oil from Niger Delta. They will just bomb it. It will take months to repair. So when Obasanjo, who was a soldier, his own effort was that I will deal with you. So Obasanjo now invited them to Abuja. Sorry that I'm giving you the backstory so that you can know the origin of Asari and some of these guys and why I call them terrorists. Back then, we didn't call them terrorists. They called them Niger Delta militants. So, Nigeria is a place where the media will give the name. So once the media give a name, now you have to wait. That name the media gives them will determine if they are dangerous in your book or not. It is like the terrorists you have in northern Nigeria today that they are called, they are calling them bandits. Now the media, they always give them name. Once they give them name, they will now kind of get some different stories to patch it. But all of them are politically sponsored. It's also like the unknown gunmen you have in eastern Nigeria today that they are attaching to IPOB. They are also politically sponsored by politicians, right? Similarly, the Fulani terrorists that they call bandits, they are politically sponsored by politicians. The Boko Haram terrorists, they are also politically sponsored by politicians. The backstory. So yeah, Asari and gang, right? They were invited to Abuja by Obasanjo in 2006 or thereabouts. They're okay, yeah, come, let's do peace meeting. Stop all this blowing of oil installation, destroying all this and kidnapping of expatriates. So when they kidnap expatriates, they will collect ransom. Ransom money, like the same way these terrorists today will kidnap people for money. Asari and gang were doing the same thing. Once they kidnap all these oil expatriates or oil workers, they will take them straight into the creek, into the deep jungle of water. In northern part of Nigeria, they have Sambisa. In the Niger Delta region, it's called the creek. People live on water where Nigeria didn't have equipment to pursue them. Once they grab anyone or group of people, they just speed straight into the creek. Inside, go inside. So negotiation will start. So once they pay the ransom, $2 million. How much do you want? $5 million. Some of these expatriates were like Americans, Italians, British, and all these Europeans, some of them. They were paying the ransom. That's how some of them made their money. Tompolo, Asari, that they actually made so much money, right? So, Obasanjo, who wanted to use military, whatever, to tackle them, now said, okay, you know what? I'm going to invite all of you to Abuja for peace talk. So when Obasanjo sent a presidential jet to go and bring Asari and everybody, all the militants who is ready to talk, they took them to Abuja. They lodged them in the best hotel in Abuja. I think it was a Transport Hilton in Abuja. Presidential suits, all of them. Like, from the creek to this porch. So Obasanjo didn't see them. For like a whole week, they enjoyed themselves. They were like, so they said, oh, sorry, Obasanjo is not around. He will come back later. So we have to reschedule this meeting. So that was just to kind of make them lose guard. So they returned them back to Niger Delta. So temporary peace was kind of negotiated. A month after that, Obasanjo said, okay, he's back now. He's ready to have the meeting with them, to come and listen to them. What did they want? So immediately they said, Obasanjo is calling you. This time they didn't send presidential jet. He just gave them tickets. Airplane ticket that, okay, see, move to Port Harcourt. From Port Harcourt, they will lift you to Abuja. They were expecting to go and meet Obasanjo in Aso Rock. As they landed in Abuja, from there, they handcuffed all of them straight Kuje prison. That was how Asari Dokubo. If you remember that picture, if you go online, you see a picture where Asari was doing like a militant, wearing beret, raising up his hand like he's fighting for human rights. No, that was the picture. So immediately landed in Abuja. They handcuffed all of them straight to Kuje prison. And that was where Asari spent the next 8 or so months. By the time they will release them, Obasanjo has managed temporary peace. So he has managed to secure the Niger Delta. But it was just like a piece of the graveyard. By the time Yaradua came in, he decided to negotiate what they call the amnesty deal. Right? The amnesty deal, plus the ransom money that they've been paying them, gave Asari Tompolo. And there's another one called the Boy Loaf. I can't remember all their names. There are many like that. So you get, he gave them so much money that Asari has so much money. He opened a university in Benin Republic, private university. That's the story of Asari Dokubo. That's how he made his money. That's how he became a gun runner that you see today. Now, when Yaradua came and gave them amnesty, they said, if you don't want to be a militant anymore, why? If you want to go to school, because you didn't have a chance of going to school, that's why you joined this militancy. Some of them took up the advantage. They went to school. Some of them went back to school, and they are doing well. We see those ones who really enjoy that money of the oil bunkery, other things. Here you get, they went back to the creek. And they continue to do their oil bunkery, stealing of crude oil, stealing of this. And they said, how can we be stealing our own resources? Now we get them. How can you say we are stealing it? Asari, as one of others, right, decided to maintain his own little political exposure that is enjoyed, right, by trying to be friends with whoever is in government. So that I could get a contract like the Tompolo, get a contract like private security. Let us be protecting the pipelines from those who are going to be vandalizing them, so that government can sign contracts and give us. Unfortunately, under Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, right, he did not enjoy same. Here you get, Tompolo was a little bit smarter. I don't know if it's smartness or connection. However, Asari continued to enjoy the amnesty money they paid to him because of the names of those he gave as his own followers. And he continued to enjoy that here today, or even more now that he's been able to sign or go into some private security deal. In 8 years of a Bokuwari, he was collecting amnesty money, and he was also getting some little gig from Bokuwari that were like not made open. Tompolo on his own, that one continued to get the pipeline contracts. Meanwhile, he's also the chief oil bunkerer, the people stealing the crude oil, guiding those who are stealing the crude oil in the Niger Delta. So if you are not on the list of people that should be stealing crude oil, Tompolo and Co. will come after you, and they will use you to show that they are working. So Nigeria government handed over the entire region to these guys. Okay? So the Nigerian Navy, the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian NSCDC and the rest of them who are being paid by Nigeria, right? They are just there to watch. That is why today you will see that those involved in oil bunkering, stealing of crude oil in Niger Delta, they are the Navy, Army, and others like that. While the supposed militant, repentant, they are the repentant militants. So the idea of terrorist repenting, the repentant terrorist, that idea came from these Niger Delta guys. So when Asari said, Nigerian Army knows that he has the capacity, so you get, he is not lying. Or at the same time, whatever capacity they think they have, Baba, this guy have their own gunboat, but Asari doesn't really have the, the ammunition like that of Tompolo. Tompolo is like a whole battalion on his own. Do you understand? It's like a terrorist that got legitimized. Okay? So he's got his own island. They tried to kill him a few times and he's killed so many soldiers, so many Nigerian army. He's killed, somebody like Tompolo, they have murdered so many Nigerian army, so many security guys, to the point that they are better left in, and they've killed his own followers too. This guy have his own, like it takes delivery of his own weapons, and Nigeria government give him that pass. He's got gunboats. He's got his own choppers who can operate the entire creek. He's got, then he transformed into a security outfit, private security. I guess over 4 billion naira a month contracts from the federal government of Nigeria. Now, Nigerian Navy, who was supposed to be most equipped than any militant, they are not the one protecting the waters of Niger Delta as we speak. They are not the ones protecting the pipelines. And these guys, they do the job. Because according to them, they know the creek better than the Nigerian government. So just give them the contracts. So when Asari made that statement that they sent a gunship to be hovering over his house, and they know that I have the capacity. I have the capacity. I don't know if he has the capacity, and I'm not going to underrate him. Here you get. If Natompolo come and said, I have the capacity to take on, well, I'm not going to doubt him. No, I won't. I have actually seen documentary. Today, Tompolo is a king. He created his own Calabria or something. He has a name. The name of his own community is a king there now. Like somebody who they believe has gone legit. But the Nigerian army disagrees with Asari. So this clown that is always wearing a Stevie Wonder shade inside the house, the spokesperson of the army, responded to Asari. That's why I call them the Zoo Army. This is Nigeria.
Comments by some individuals.
Take a Tom. God bless you. You know what these guys, I don't forget some of their names. They don't come to they are no longer like coming to the news. Now, this Asari, they cause nuisance. You will barely hear these guys. I take a Tom, boy loaf, something boy loaf, Tompol. These guys, right? These days, you barely see them in the news. Now, only this Asari, they turn on the ring lights and the camera, and it's always there. Talk, like that. I do like his talk because it kind of cracks me up sometimes too, right? Now look at the Nigerian army responding to him.
Comments by some individual that they can shoot down the helicopter of the military. I think that's laughable. In fact, I'm about to laugh about that. And I say that because, we're in a democracy and we are a professional force. We cannot just based on somebody's comments begin to do certain things and then they will now accuse the military of being undemocratic. The military is not the only security agency, force, or department in the country. There are other security forces who have a role to play constitutionally when it comes to some of these issues. But I tell you that he doesn't have that capability. He's just blabbing. But I will allow the security forces that are responsible for handling such cases to take up the matter. Ours is come on the battlefield and we take you out. He should come on the battlefield and see whether we can react or not. Now to comments about welfare. I must tell you at this point that when you look at the high command of the military, beginning with the Chief of Defense Staff, General C.J. Musa, to the service chiefs, one thing the common denominator you will see or find is that all of them have operational experience. They've been in the battlefield. They know what the troops in the field are feeling. And that is why on their appointment to their positions, they knew to take welfare of the troops as priority, which they have done. I can assure you that the military doesn't play with the welfare of his troops, particularly at this time. Comments by some individual that
nuisance lele.
So again, if anybody tells you Nigeria is a giant of Africa, they are referring to what is believed to be Nigeria's population. Okay? The last 10 years has exposed Nigeria as a supposed a giant, so to say. Just remove the G and I and leave the ants. Pretty much like, you know, a big for nothing country. Their corruption has incapacitated last 10 years, except for the force they use on the armless civilians. Nigeria cannot protect our own territorial integrity. If this was, let me say this to you, right? Any well-armed country can actually take over Nigeria. And maybe within a day or two, I'm talking about countries with armed weapons and all of that, can take Nigeria. And you see Nigerian army and the rest of them. They will either run away or surrender. But it's because it is no longer fashionable for another country to take another country anymore. Well, except for Russia, Ukraine, and all this world crisis that we are witnessing today, right? Nigerian army cannot, Nigerian security and the rest of them, they cannot protect Nigeria, and they have shown it. Nigeria is a place where if tomorrow the supposed militant of Niger Delta, take a look at these scenarios I'm about to give you now, okay? If the militants in Niger Delta decided to shut Nigeria down, it won't take them more than just 24 hours. 24 hours is too long, but let's use 24 hours. They can blow up all of the oil installations, all the pipelines that takes oil and all of that out of the Niger Delta. And the next 72 hours, Nigeria will be on a belly. Nigeria military do not have the resources to actually protect Nigeria's supposed oil infrastructure, to the point that they had to make a deal with the militants there. You get what I mean? Even though they will tell you that they have the capacity, no, they don't. And the reason is because of the corruption that has eaten so deep into Nigeria so much. Similarly, if we're the terrorists up north decided to shut Nigeria down by attacking all of the supposed farms, communities that are growing food and the rest of them. So within just 24 hours, the entire country will be like, and there will be no military, there will be no, the entire military or what have you that can defend Nigeria. And that's not a joke. That's not even a lie. For 10 years, corruption has made it impossible for them to push back the terrorists that have taken over the northern part of Nigeria, pushed down to the middle belt of Nigeria, terrorizing the southern part of Nigeria. So just imagine the damages they have already done. Food production in Nigeria is almost near zero, where they have attacked communities, killed farmers up north, middle belt. Benue used to be called the food basket of Nigeria. Today, people of Benue can barely feed themselves. Why? Because most of all the farmlands in these areas have now turned to graveyards, especially the last 8 years of Boko Haram, where the Fulani terrorists were on a killing spree. And the Nigerian army, because of the corruption, have been unable to stop them. For 10 years, what they could actually create is to create what is called Operation Safe Corridor, in a way that the government of Nigeria was making move to give land to Fulani terrorists, that maybe that would bring peace. Politicians, they have destroyed that contraption enough that those of you who are trying, you are hoping that maybe someday, one day, you are going to regain the old glory, if you had any, right? All of that back. That means you are not paying attention to what they have done to you. They ensure that this kind of existence is permanent, where you have to live off the mercy of different non-state actors, where they have weapons, unimaginable weapons, in the hands of a different ragtag group of terrorists across Nigeria. That if for some reason their sponsor decided that, you know what, let's burn down this country today, that's exactly what will happen. You can speak all your grammar from that your, what do you call it? From that your Eiffel Tower or something. Yeah, from that your fancy, beautiful cities and offices, Abby. You can speak all that. And they can shut. They've done it. It's already done. Like you can tell, the entire place is like in the hands of different armed groups. So the day Nigeria is going to go up in smoke, I don't know who is going to be the militant commander for my own area. But as it stands right now, the amount of guns in the hands of wrong people is more than the population of Nigeria. And I'm not exaggerating. No thanks to the criminal politicians of the last 25 years of Nigeria, who have imported more guns than development, more guns than the growth of the people into Nigeria. So if you say your population is 200 million, you probably have more than 300 million guns in the hands of different ragtag groups, from the north to the south, from the west to the east, from the middle belt to the Niger Delta Creek. No thanks to the criminal politicians in charge of that contraption, who are more interested in what they can steal and take for themselves. So when you look at the Nigerian army talking about, it's so bad that I remember when the Boko Haram were chasing Nigerian army officials from their barracks, armory of Nigerian army in Kaduna. And I saw soldiers who were like jumping mountains, running away, because these ragtag terrorists are not indeed, right? So that same army came back, the army that has recorded, what do you call it? They have recorded the most death in Nigeria, in the history of Nigerian army in the last 8 years than what happened, the number of soldiers killed during the Nigerian Civil War. Do you know that? Yeah, last 8 years of Nigeria, Nigerian army or Nigerian military, they have lost more men than they lost during the Civil War, the genocidal war. And yet, right, none of them sees the damage that these civilians have done and how much more they are still going to do, because majority of their own leaders, they can't wait to take off the uniform and put on agbada like a Buratai the butcher did, in such a way that they know the proliferation of a small and big arms in the hands of different group of people. Some of them were purchased and bought and supplied by these same politicians. The armory of Nigerian army have been looted many times by the Boko Haram. the Fulani terrorists. And in most cases, they've underplayed the whole thing to the rest of the country. So that's why somebody said that if Nigeria should have any other civil war now, Nigeria no go survive. The amount of guns that is out there, right? Nigeria will not survive it. I do not. That's why I don't really pray for any violence, a breakup of Nigeria. It's going to be too bloody, so bloody that some of us may not even survive it. No thanks to the criminals that's taken over Nigeria in the last 25 years, especially the last 10 of the 25 years. Think about that. So right now, we have the Nigerian army, the members of Nigerian military who have been so neck deep in corruption that they are killing themselves, shooting themselves over who and who should control the oil bunkering route. They are not really going after criminals because they are the criminals. Somebody said this afternoon that every day they talk about the Nigerian army being sabotaged or ambushed, rather. Nigerian army being ambushed. Now, who are those who are kind of like leaking the information, the movement of the military, the movement of the army, whenever they are going to places like the theater of war? See, Nigeria is not fighting what they say. I believe that you are probably at war, and you are at different war, religious war, as well as economic war. Now, the religious war, which is being sponsored for political gain, economic war, which is also being sponsored for political gain. The poorer you are, the more control they have over you. So Nigeria is not at war. Nigerians are hungry. They can't farm. They can't go to their farms. Those who manage to go to their farms, they have to kind of pay taxes to different terror group up north before they can harvest their farm produce. Now, the food production in Nigeria has been cut down so much that Nigeria now depends on importation of food. That too is not sustainable as well. Now, Nigerians are hungry, very, very hungry. And the politicians, they continue to make promises that they don't have any plan of keeping. So this afternoon, Remi Ahmed Tifnumbu, Rat, it was in Ile-Ife, where God help me. I have no idea what they are doing, but I saw honey of Ife earlier today. So that's the honey of Ife, the man that honestly, okay, I don't want to enter him. I'll leave him, okay? But that was him in a carriage, right? I don't even know what that carriage means, right? But somehow, he played host to Rat today. And Rat was talking to people and she said, Nigerians are going through a lot, no doubt. And this possibly is affecting your mental health. I said, yeah, that's right. Glad that you can actually observe that, because I've been saying that here many times on several occasions, right? That people are going through hell. And my only advice for them is that if you are going through hell, you should please continue. Don't say you want to go back, just continue going through it so that you can, if you make it to the end of it, who knows? You probably would not remain the same. So she said, people are suffering from mental health. There's something people need to know as well. My husband is not responsible for your hardship. Really? Okay. Yeah, my husband is not responsible for your hardship in Nigeria. My husband came to help all of you. So, and if all of you will kind of calm down and give him more time, give him 2 more years. So by then, you can see the improvement in your lives. But until then, all of you should be your brother's keepers. If you see people that are running mad next to you, or people who have become depressed because of this hardship, because of all things going on in that contraption, all of you should try and help. But the problem that rats fail to realize is that majority of those who used to help people, some of them have also kind of What if it's dulushi? They themselves have now fallen into that trap of needing help. So the helpers are now seeking help. Like I said this afternoon, when you look at the people that you used to send message to, it's either they are no longer replying your messages, or even they themselves. When you send prayer to them, you just realize that they send the prayer back to you. Say, happy new month. God bless you, sir. In the book of Jeremiah 13:12, God said that you shall reap bountifully. This month shall be your month. And I pray to Almighty God that everything that you desire shall come to pass. And as you are a very good, cheerful giver, our Lord Jesus Christ will continue to bless you. And then you see that your helper forwarded the same message back to you and ask you to type amen. And you are like, you are not supposed to send it back to me, sir. You are just supposed to say amen. I'm only praying for you that you say, the prayer, man. Don't send your prayer to me anymore. Because as it is right now, even me, I compose prayer for people who go help me. This afternoon as well, right? I saw where the Arewa on Twitter, the Arewa, something Arewa Twitter or something. I'm talking about those ones who, if you are very familiar with Twitter, so to say, X, you're familiar, you will see during the time of the Mumu tickets, Muslim tickets, they were very vocal. Those who are like, if you are not comfortable with the Muslim ticket, you can go to L. One Muslim is good, two Muslim is great. You will see how Nigeria will turn around. Tifnumbu will handle economy. Shitty man will handle security. And then stuff like the Igbos will never rule Nigeria. Igbos will never be president in Nigeria. We have a different class of Nigerians. They said, first class Nigerians, they are Northerners. Second class Nigerians, they are Yorubas. This is it. They said, first class Nigerians, Fulani, first class, Hausa, second class, Yoruba, third class. There's one more thing there before they now mention the Igbos. I think it is the goats. Goats from Northern Nigeria, they are fourth class. And then Rams from Northern Nigeria, they are fifth class. I think Igbos were like sixth class, according to them. That, they shall like all these banters on social media. It was, I'm talking about whoever is the handler of some of those Twitter handles. Now, I now realize that, this afternoon, he now tweeted that, if you have any means of leaving Nigeria, leave. Now some people said, problem tiwao. If Northerners, we don't talk most of the time that Northerners don't travel, they don't leave Nigeria. They are like the ones, they will stay there. That is why they are always the ones in politics, because you, Southerners, any small thing, when I don't go America, go stay there. You won't be Americans. You want to be British. You want to be Canadians. You want to be The Northerners don't leave. They stay. That's why you will see that they would be the one to control Nigeria. Say, if Arewa Twitter, they tell people, say, if you get means to leave, and he be say, you don't read. I believe that. Right? That anyway, if you get any means, make you leave this country, T-Pain won't finish everybody. Atiku also tweeted something this evening, where he said, with this latest price increase in petroleum products, it's expected that there is going to be increase in the price of transportation, the cost of transportation, at the cost of food, and so many things, including the cost of services. Yeah, for example, you need to go and see your doctor, and then the doctors will be like, you need to go and deposit 50,000. And I say, doctor, why are you saying go deposit 50,000 before we even look at you? Well, it's usually 5,000 naira now. Is that not how much you pay for card? They say, well, it's now 50,000. So that's called services. Like that, other services, they're also going to charge you. There's going to be increase. So if Remi Werekwe, Rat says, her husband is not the cause of your suffering. Her husband is only trying to help you. and fix Nigeria. So you should give him time for his reforms to catch up. So when Atiku called him T-Pain, oh dear, everybody just lashed on that like, Atiku, you they follow all this social media conversation that you know that Tifnubu is T-Pain. Great. So back in the days when they say they will not eat from our enemies. Well, these days now, since your friends are not cooking, if you ever see your enemies say they cook, Baba, you better go befriend them. Even if your enemies take say you go try poison, or sometimes you might actually try to find out if not poison they won't give you or not, because the situation don't enter a serious case as we speak. But you have 2 more years, according to Rats, to be able to, give a husband enough time in such a way. And yeah, Atiku said Tifnubu is unperturbed. He doesn't give a damn about you. It's obvious, isn't it?
Wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ bí ọ̀rọ̀ epo àwọn á di 200 á di 5. Ẹ fọkàn balẹ̀, a máa gbé wálẹ̀.
Ẹ lọ fọkàn balẹ̀, ẹ lọ fọkàn balẹ̀.
Anyway, saw a video. You see, today, by the way, they started promoting what they called the CNG. You see, there's a difference between going to the market to buy a car that uses gas, than for these criminals to advise you to go and convert your petroleum car to gas, even though they make you believe that that's just something you just walk in and you do. Don't worry, just go there. It will only cost you about 2 million naira to change your PMS car to a gas, a CNG car. And they started promoting that the moment the price of petroleum was increased yesterday. So they started promoting that today. More like CNG. Go and get CNG. If you want to, you see, for example, if you want to drive your, to fill your tank, your car from Abuja to Lagos, it may cost you up to 100,000 naira to fill your tank. But if you use a CNG, it will only cost you 10,000 naira. Yeah, so they are like promoting that now. So everybody's now saying, it's true. Others are saying, hey. Those people where they tell you, say, it is cheaper to use a CNG sort of cars. I haven't really seen much of CNG cars anyway, okay? So it simply means that professionally, the cars with gas, using gas, they have installed the old gas, they built it for gas, this and that, Abi. But in Nigeria, they will pack 2 cylinders of gas, put it. You know what actually made me laugh there is what somebody said that, you see, if you see the picture, I'm going to try and get a picture of a CNG in Nigeria, okay? So they will put 2 cylinders in your car boot. Number one, you probably won't be able to put anything else in the car boot anymore, okay? So they'll put 2 cylinders there for you. Now, somebody said, in this Nigeria, where crazy people the road, maybe you are just there in the traffic, or you're slowing down in traffic, and somebody just from behind just say, whoa, it's you from behind. Omo, adieu papa niyo, adieu sister niyo, opade lese Jesu, níbi tí a kò ní yára wa, a ó ríra wa. Aleyo morawa, Jesu ni yo she chamanu wa. You get what that means? You couldn't, because with the level of what you have in that contraption, these guys are trying to make it look like, petrol is going to still be very expensive. If you want to save yourself, it is better to go and convert your car that Oyibo build for petrol, I mean for diesel. Then you go convert them to gas. So I saw a video of a soldier somewhere. They said it's a conference, and he's talking about, listen to this. They said Nigeria have 36 billion barrel of crude oil, and Nigeria have 42 trillion cubic of gas. So it is better all of us just turn to gas, Charade. If we cannot not afford the petrol anymore, but you will not be able to afford it anymore, they mean, right? No, we could turn to gas. So they sent this guy to one regional summit, right, to go and talk about gas. I saw the video. I said, I'm going to share it with us. You may understand what he's saying, okay? But I don't want to be a pessimist, right? A pessimist is somebody who is probably like, I can see through the whole shenanigans. So if the country that is an oil-producing country has now made it almost impossible for the people of that country to be able to afford, number one, you can't refine your own crude oil. Now they are making it more like you can't even use it anymore. So here you get, so it's going to be another alternative for you. And they are promoting that so much that some of you, in your mumu mind, they believe them. By the time they are done, right? Anyway, listen to this.
Thank you very much. Admiral Enrico, the head of the Italian Navy, distinguished heads of navies, my co-panelists, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. First, I must say that already this symposium is bringing out new concepts that I really never thought of before, and I'm glad to be here today. I feel honored being here today to speak on this topic, preserving the underwater, the secure and sustainable use of the underwater. I consider this topic appropriate, particularly at this point when nations are making efforts to expand their blue economy, which involves sustainable exploitation of resources in the marine environment, including fisheries, hydrocarbons, as well as other activities like maritime transport, tourism, among others. The African Integrated Maritime Strategy recognizes that the underwater holds enormous resources crucial for advancing Africa's blue economy. But while harnessing the ocean economy, we must preserve and protect the environment. In this regard, the responsibility of securing Nigeria's maritime environment is statutorily vested on the Nigerian Navy. My remarks will therefore reflect on Nigerian Navy's perspectives as it relates to preserving the underwater resources for sustainable use and economic prosperity of our dear nation. Specifically, I will discuss our maritime area of interest, the shared responsibility to secure this maritime environment, and our efforts at combating threats in the maritime environment, as well as our future perspectives. Nigeria's maritime area of interest stretches beyond the 200 nautical miles exclusive economic zone. We recognize that the Gulf of Guinea presents a heritage of shared responsibilities and mutual expectations. Consequently, our maritime area of interest encompasses our internal waters, the territorial sea, the exclusive economic zone, and the entire Gulf of Guinea. This vast maritime space constitutes the Nigerian Navy's operating environment. The area has enormous underwater resources and serves as a medium of seaborne trade, which accounts for over 85% of Nigeria's trade volume. It has a teeming aquatic species and a reservoir of non-living natural resources. The Gulf of Guinea is also among the most fertile hydrocarbon provinces in the world. Nigeria has over 36 billion barrels of crude oil reserves, and over 182 trillion cubic feet of gas reserves. These underwater resources account for a substantial percentage of our gross domestic product and foreign exchange earnings. Now, in line with the United Nations Conference on the Law of the Sea, about 60% of the oceans are outside the national jurisdictions, which implies shared responsibility for preserving and securing the underwater. The interconnectivity of the seas also compares collectivism in global strategies for enhanced maritime security in order to preserve underwater resources for safe and sustainable use. This is the reason why the African Integrated Maritime Strategy sought to foster increased wealth creation from Africa's seas by developing a thriving blue economy in an environmentally stable manner while preserving underwater resources in a secured environment. Similarly, the vision of the ECOWAS, that is the Economic Community of West African States, Integrated Maritime Strategy, is a prosperous, safe, and peaceful ECOWAS maritime domain that will allow preservation of underwater resources for environmentally sustainable development and national prosperity. Both the ECOWAS and the Africa strategy ought to be driven by navies to satisfy the security component as a precursor to the attainment of the economic component. The recognition of this shared responsibility has been the impetus for various collaborative efforts to address maritime security in Nigeria and the region as a whole. Prominent among these is the 2013 Yaoundé Code of Conduct, among other initiatives. Now, I look at Nigeria's contemporary threats to underwater resources. The contemporary threats impeding sustainable use of Nigeria's underwater resources include illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, sea robbery and piracy, smuggling, oil.
He has no job.
I know you probably just listen to what is he talking about. It is part of the GPT that they are pushing, okay, to make you believe that if they ask you to choose between 160 something trillion cubic gas and 36 billion crude oil, which one would you say is the future? Gas. So everybody should forget about crude oil, Charade. Let us start talking about gas, so that when you cannot afford a liter of petrol, they can put this gasoline, this cylinder in the back of your car, so that cars that were built for, what do you call it? Built for gas, built for petrol. You can now possibly just put gas into it. So one by one, all of them go just go like a perfume, Meanwhile, Tifnumbu,
bought himself
a brand new bulletproof 1.6 billion naira Escalade. He did not buy a CNG Escalade. He bought himself a 1.6 billion naira bulletproof PMS Escalade. 1.6 billion, 3.2 billion naira. One for himself, one for shitty man. This one will get a cylinder for back. So imagine that you are driving in Lagos. I want downfall without brake. You and your family. Number one, where are you going to put all your load anyway? So you're going to find somewhere else to put it, okay? So one downfall without brake. Just one use it to stop in downfall. Right? But bah! Since you won't be able to afford petrol. Why, by the way, this issue of petroleum in Nigeria is not about cars or buses alone. It's about businesses. Yeah, all of the businesses that are operating on, alternative power supply. Oh, okay. You probably just have to go and use solar energy or solar power. God damn it. So Atifku tweeted this earlier and said the haphazard and disingenuous approach of the current administration to fuel subsidy management has been the reason we are in this current economic crisis in the country. As things stand, there will be no let up in the escalating inflation rates, which is drowning the material well-being of Nigerians. It's even more worrying that T-Pain is undisturbed by the hardship in the country. Who is T-Pain? Kolu Tifnumbu. So, I don't know how to kind of describe this to you, okay? But it is pretty much like, if I can put it like, you are effed up, including those of you who probably still have money. I'll keep referring to those of you who believe that you have money. I can afford it, even if they sell a liter of petroleum for 5,000 naira. God is on the throne. I will still be able to afford it. In that your selfishness, okay, you are about to discover the truth, a very tough one. You will understand the meaning of inflation, hyperinflation, and what else do you have out there? Multi-dimensional poverty. You are about to understand what it means. So with Tifnumbu's wife, Rat, advising all of you to stop blaming her husband, and give him extra 2 years, and you will see the work that he's doing. So some people are now saying, like that Twitter, like if you see some of these northerners who were shouting Muslim tickets, we're so proud about their Mumu tickets few months to the election there, right? Majority of them are now saying they don't think Tifnubu want to go for second term. As if to say they were the one who actually made him the president now. You know, some people are still deluded that somehow it is their election or their vote that make Tifnubu your president. That level of delusion is something I'm working on right now. I'm doing a research on it. I wanted to understand that level of delusion. But you see, Rinu, this brilliant lady, good enough, she's left Nigeria herself, now lives in the US. Omolomo. They nearly killed her during the answers. Remember, Rinu? So when people were wondering that, how Kolu won't take Duam? Oh, she put out something. According to her, how would Tifnumbu manage to convince Una for second term? Number one, it doesn't need to convince you. But I love the fact that she put together all of this, right? She said, it will tell you what he told you before he won in Koto in 2023. And what did he tell you in 2023? Nothing. Because if you remember, most of what we picked from Tifnumbu's supposed campaigns in 2023 are one.
I don't want to sit here and reveal all my strategy. I am the first speaker among the three of us running. So they will spy on me. So you will have a limited answer here today. Another day you can bring me back. But that's part of what I do.
2.
All classes. You know what they call F level? When you get failure in all the subjects that you take. F9, F8, F9, F8, FF. Double F.
And 3.
If we reduce the purchasing power of the people, we can further slow down the economy. Let's widen the tax net. Those who are not paying now, if it is inclusive of Bola Tinubu, let the nets get bigger and we take in more taxes, and that is what we must do in the.
And 4.
The transmission line is a super highway. For generated electricity and power. They could not even make a down payment for a roasted corn.
And maybe 5.
And we are competing with armed robbers and the bandits to recruit from the youths who are unemployed. 33% unemployed. Recruit 50 million youths into the army and take away from their recruitment source. What they will eat? Cassava, agbado, corn in the morning, yam in the afternoon. It's growing here. You create demand and consumption. For over 5 million army of boot camps, we create our food. That's money for the farmers. That's consumption for the soldiers and skill development. Don't call them illiterate. Don't talk about illiteracy. Anybody who can own gun, who can handle gun, who can cock gun and clean the chamber and cock and shoot is technically competent to repair a tractor in the farm.
Or maybe this one. 5.
If we lend ourselves to innovation, we can create wonders. Here is a successful, again, a town hall, different from Bulaba.
Lava. Or maybe this one. 6. Especially for the
great youth of Nigeria.
Great.
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 Greatest,
Yo. Or is it that time they ask him to test the microphone if it's working? And Alaye begin to kiss him. So what exactly do you think he told them during that charade? So nothing. Then Rino went on to say, his team will concoct a propaganda folder of achievements and a good hashtag. We rise again. People, when they try to pretend that they are suffering now, they will like on it. Then APC stalwarts in the East will form a coalition. Southeast for Tinubu second term. Then APC stalwarts in the North, Arewa stand behind Tinubu Shetima. APC stalwarts in the Southwest, Tinubu and Konsi, they will refuel their anti-Igbo rhetoric. In key states, Yoruba land, they will reignite the hate the Igbos, that one will come back again. Most of the people who were promoting that a year ago or a year and a half ago, they will come back again. Right now, under the wire, most of them, they are quiet. So they will be back. And the new ones who are fighting for soup, all these ones, you get one of them who actually, the guy that sang the song we listened to on MaiyegunsDiary Politico, you know him, right? Yeah, is such a disappointment, by the way. But me, there's something I believe in. Everything that has a beginning always have its own end. Here you guys, not karma, not, but everything that has a beginning has its own end. So when you see anybody that think that because they have social media influence now, they could ride, okay, on the APC-sponsored tribal hatred in the name of defending Yoruba because of Tifnumbu. They will tell you that they are not doing it for Tifnumbu, but they are doing it because of Tifnumbu. And this is what has, sort of led to this upsurge in this hateful social media rhetorics right now. So they will be back. Some of them who are new recruits, they will be back, okay? However, they will pay traditional media massively to distort messaging and interview loyalists to keep Nigerians busy. So Channels Television, Arise, and some of these platforms, right? They will begin to interview Tifnumbu supporters, loyalists, who will be talking like a talking heads when that time comes, okay? So they will devise some medium of economic relief around the election to shut critics and encourage loyalists, since we know get sense, according to our rights. So which means they will begin to share money, share food, give contract to some people that will begin to speak nice by 2025, 2026, okay? Then you see the known and unknown columnists will spring from dark corners to extol the government. Yes, you begin to see, when you buy newspapers, you begin to see some known and unknown columnists writing about how Tifnumbu has been doing so much to try to bring back the glory of Nigeria. Nigeria is tough. It's not that easy. Give him a time for second time. When he do second time, it will finish the whole problem, okay? It will finish all of that. Then, she said, unleash fictitious youth groups, civil society, to push narratives of acceptance. You begin to see different groups, like the youth for Tifnumbu, Arewa youth for second time, the Christian Association of Youth, Islamic Association Youth, Elder Forum, group. You begin to see some of them again, right? To show that he's accepted, they'll be endorsing him. Social media will be rife with now dormant faceless accounts to attack, misinform, disinform, and distort facts. You'll see them begin to kind of lie to your face. They'll begin to say things on social media that you'll be like, oh God, man, right? Then you will see key voices will return to sitting on the fence. These key voices are people that usually should have their voice to save the people. They will keep quiet. Yeah, they will go back and sit on the fence. They won't say anything anymore. They will be like, some of them will begin to talk about football. Yeah, like they are not, Also, right, they will sponsor arguments by known influencers about how a second term will be effective to allow him finish what is started. Like they did for Bokwari, remember? They said that Bokwari was recovering from the damages of PDP, remember? So he needed that second term. Remember that Bokwari was a little bit sick, so he didn't have time to really do his work first time. People will begin to bring that same mentality back again, that conversation, arguments on social media. So they will gather clergymen, your men of dogs, leader of religious groups, to endorse or tell the people to endure the sovereign. Do not question your leaders. Pray for Nigeria. You begin to hear things like that from 2025, 2026, okay? So they will use APC current governors and local government chairmen to command key structures and groups and install stalwart candidates in states with outgoing governors. Some of the states whose governors are going to end before 2027, they will install stooges like they have done in Edo. They will install stooges governors who are going to begin to say, Tifnumbu must win for second term. Tifnumbu for second term, right? So they will destabilize the opposition parties from inside, which is already obvious. By 2025, 2026, some of them will be in disarray. Too many internal fights that they won't even get themselves. Talk less of waiting to do election, right? Now, they will resell the Muslim ticket to the north. That one is very crucial. They will tell the northern Nigeria that, listen, Islam, Muslim is still in your best interest. Okay? And don't forget, okay? They will say Lagos is no man's land. That narrative will spring out of nowhere and be pinned on the Igbos. Lagos is no man's land. They will say the Igbos are saying that again. By 2025, 2026, you'll begin to hear things like Lagos is no man's land. Lagos is no man's land. You'll be seeing the Igbo fake accounts on social media. They will be pushing the narrative like, yes, now we own Lagos. Lagos is a no man's land. But you won't know that they are the people behind it. Fake social media accounts that will attract. The way they normally do it is this. So you will see all those fake accounts. They don't usually have many followers. Okay. So once the fake Igbo account says, now we get Lagos. Yoruba, now we build Lagos. Now we Kiniko. So all of their bigger profile accounts on social media, they will now be sharing this and say, see, the Igbos have started again. Oh, these Igbos must go. These Igbos want to take over Yoruba land. Yorubas must rise up. Yeah. That will come back again. Pay attention. That's why I actually want to read. I decided I'm going to read this to you, to all of you in the temple, because it's so real that, man, I'm like, no, I'm going to share it with everyone here, right? Because it's so true. You begin to see a lot of them, and you begin to see some other Igbo dumbos, idiots, right, who are also bigots themselves. They will be agreeing with all these fake accounts because they want to feel good. They won't know that in APC, they set them up. Like they did last year. They will do it again. Yes, all this your hardship that you are talking about, all this incompetence and failure, everybody will forget about that. Now they want to protect Yoruba land. Tinubu must continue. If not, the Igbos are going to take over Yoruba land. Right now, Igbos don't want to take Yoruba land now. Here you get. Now, Onga, they take over Yoruba land as we speak. But by 2025, 2026, they will bring it back again. And you begin to see some of you who are easily deceived, by the way. And so that they do. We must stand together. We must stand together. That's why Tinubu must continue like that. Anyway, so there will be talks on, there will be talks on strengthening the bond with the North and how it's the North's turn in 2031. So they will begin to say the Northern Nigeria must stick with Tinubu because now they are turn in 2031. So the Yorubas must bond. The Northerners must bond with the Yorubas because now they are turn for not 2031. The Northerners that are complaining and dying too right now, they will begin to feel like, oh, it's true. If we don't support this Tinubu now, na Igbo man we will support. We will not have a presidency in 2031. We will just endure, Jare. Listen to this part. The structure of Agberos will be strengthened to maintain a chokehold in key states like Lagos, Abuja, Rivers, and Edo. So true. Dollars will be shared to traditional leaders, delegates, churches, mosques. Yes, they will share dollars and tell all of them to begin to promote Tinubu for second term. Pay attention. They will intensify the stomach infrastructure project and palliative sharing. They already don't turn Nigeria to a palliative country anyway. Now they are sharing rice, bread everywhere. They will intensify that by 2026. So they'll keep using tribal card to influence Southwest, religious card in the North, anti-Igbo card to suppress the Southeast, right? Because it worked. Remember, all you have to do is just kind of push this tribal religious stuff in the North, tribal stuff in the Southwest, right? And ensure that the anti-Igbo rhetoric, anti-Igbo's rhetoric continue to spread as well. It will be like never before. I agree. Oh, and this interesting part. INEC will be recaptured from 2025 with APC agents and loyalists, and their structures will be attacked in key states to disenfranchise. So the states where they believe that they can't have headway, suddenly, is either they will begin to burn down INEC office, or your voter's card, the voter's card will no longer be available, or they will kind of like that disenfranchisement, right? Burn your voter's card, or you begin to see your voter's card inside the pit. Because since you know go get voter's card, or you know what I mean. So how you want to challenge them, right? This guy is so smart, by the way. Now, she said, few candidates will be attacked or killed before election day. EFCC will warn citizens and be sent to states to curb vote buying. There will be massive violence and vote suppression in key states on election day, which means a lot of you will not even want to go out and vote and participate at all. And that's what they need, right? So police will arrest few people who try to steal ballot boxes, make it look like they are working. We have arrested these people who want to steal like that. So INEC will claim technicalities and announce winner by 4 a.m. Civil society will release statements on integrity of the elections. Civil societies means you will see different groups that will say, this is the best election. Others will say, this is the worst election. This election is the best. Like that. When I go repeat them, then they will say, make everybody go court. And the judiciary will deliver judgment and say, Tifnubu won. Okay? And all of them will go back to square one. Interesting, right? That's exactly the way I saw it. And I was like, I'm going to share that with you. So who want to put themselves into all of this? Who would like to put themselves into all of this? Like, I would never want to subject myself to. That's why I said it yesterday. That listen, Tifnubu might have captured Nigeria, but if those people who claim to want to fix Nigeria, as they claim, Obi, Atifku, Kwakwansop, and few of them like that, if they cannot mobilize their millions of followers now to shut down Nigeria, if they are afraid of getting killed or arrested, then they are probably just hiding behind the failure of it. The failure of Tifnubu to make it look like they will be better. No, they won't. If they are going to be better than Tifnubu, and they indeed want a better Nigeria, they will mobilize all of you out now. Before they tell you, say, may you go register to vote. Go and get your PVC. And all that stuff. Now, they will mobilize all of you to the streets and make a demand like a new constitution, dissolution of your criminal INEC group, and then decide on how they want the election to be and all that. So that Tifnubu and his gang will know that they do not have the monopoly of violence, of crookery, crookery and all of that stuff. But if everybody is hiding behind, they don't want to make DSS arrest them. They don't want soldiers to shoot them. They are all waiting for what? 2027. We're not going to hear them. Listen to your senators, what they are talking about in their Senate. Yeah.
Let's try to say INEC should do. But is that the solution? No. Even INEC, in some states, people complain about INEC. But at least the complaints are less. If you want state independent electoral commissions to be removed from the constitution so that only INEC conducts elections for all the local governments and the states and the federation, then you have to have the governors on board. That's reality. Let's not deceive ourselves that we can just pass the law and then it will go to the states and the state house of assembly will comply. They will not. They will listen to their governors. That's the reality. In fact, even if they don't, they will listen to themselves because they think they have power there. So we need to have, Mr. President, our own responsibility, and the governors, the president, and every one of us. This is about the survival of democracy. And politicians, I think, in Nigeria, we think people don't care much. They will laugh it over. We'll regret it if we continue like this. Because people will be tired of us. We are saying no elections were held in Benue. Well, I don't know. Because I'm yet to see any report of any investigation. It's an assumption, I'm sure. Mr. President, you should take the gauntlet. You, the Speaker, or probably the body of leadership in the National Assembly, should engage with Mr. President, get the governors, and you sit, all of you, presided over by the president. We have to find a way out. If we amend the state independent electoral commissions not to conduct elections, that will require the support of the State House of Assembly, and the governors have a crucial role to play in that. Even if it is going to be incremental amendment to improve local government elections, Mr. President, this 10th National Assembly must initiate that. If we can't get everything out, then we must have some steps that will narrow down the avenues through which the state independent electoral commissions manipulate the system in almost all the states. But I want to tell you, it's not going to be easy. Nobody would like to throw away power, because that is the power the state governments have. If you are in total control of all the local governments, that is your power, and you cannot easily just give it away, especially when it is the opposition that is talking. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Nuisance lele.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He's talking like who? The wine. Somebody said he's been watching Maiyegun. He's talking like Maiyegun. You the wine. They can't talk like Maiyegun. If you know be Maiyegun, it can't be Maiyegun. Eh? You should know that. I mean, 4 people. You dear Templars. And the guy, the worst, as they claim now, the worst Senate president of Nigeria, Akpabi Ole, that should be in jail, serving life in jail, or waiting to take a needle. I'm talking about somebody who's supposed, like, probably like have been given a death sentence for a crime against humanity. Is the Senate president of Nigeria. Listen to him. Their constitution says you have 3 tiers of government, Abi? The federal, the state, and then the local governments. But look at him.
This up, and then you had support across party lines. Now, the world needs to know that it is not limited to only the PDP states. That the sham of local government election goes beyond party lines. I think that's the conclusion of the Senate, and that there is need for us to do something to reposition the local government as a 3rd tier of government. And what you are seeing here is that it has never really been a 3rd tier of government. So we commend the Supreme Court of Nigeria for the ruling that the funds of local government should go direct to the local government. But then we, on our part, in the National Assembly, must give Philip. We must take the next step to ensure that the decision that has been so far given by the Supreme Court becomes alive. Even all these things about elections or selection or coronation of local government chairmen and councillors, we are the ones to do something about. If the public sees us crying, then they will lose hope in democracy. So we are giving notice to the public that we are poised to change the situation for the better. I think that's the essence of this dialogue. That is why I allowed people to speak across party lines. But this Senator Olamide, if it's for any specific thing, we are passive. We are just saying that the next thing now is for us to discuss the way forward. And it's not going to be here. Like the SP Emeritus pointed out, all hands must be on deck. We must have a meeting, must have a national dialogue. The president must be there. The governors must be there. Even the past governors must be there. And those who are doing second term, who will soon become past governors, should also realize what they are doing to past governors and political office holders will also happen to them if the situation is not corrected. And then the public is waiting to see what the National Assembly will do to ensure that elections in the local governments are free and fair. For now, I always believe that we have only 2 tiers of government, the federal and the state. If we correct the election situation in local governments across the country, that's the only time we can have a 3-tier system of government. So that we don't overflow the issue.
Nuisance lele.
Their law says 3 tiers. But because Nigeria is a lawless place, Okay? And people like him, Akpabiole, is already broken that law for 8 straight years, rather than go to jail for stealing local government allocation that was supposed to go straight to them. He was rewarded with the position of a minister of Niger Delta. He stole 107 billion as governor. They made him minister afterward under the supposed president that is fighting corruption. Akpabiole went on to steal over 4 trillion naira. Yeah, you heard me right. 4 trillion naira from the Ministry of Niger Delta. That's the money that should have gone into building schools, hiring teachers, building medical facilities across Niger Delta region, hiring teachers, building roads, infrastructures that could actually be like federal government infrastructures in the Niger Delta region. He looted the money. He got caught. The Senate or the House of Representatives that was investigating it at the time, it was thrown into a serious chaos that nothing came out of it. And afterward, he is rewarded with a seat of Senate again, and he is now the number 3 man in Nigeria. And the first year of him being the Senate President of Nigeria, they padded the Nigerian budget with over 6 trillion naira, 2024 budget. 6 trillion naira, that is money to be shared by this crook, by these criminals. But it's part of the budget on projects that doesn't exist. So by the time he spent his second term, third term, second year, third year, and fourth year under Tifnumbu, you realize that he's been advancing in his stealing. He has been advancing. As a state governor, he stole 107 billion. EFCC was looking for him. They actually picked him up at the time. He quickly came to APC. And the whole case disappeared. Yeah, it disappeared. And he got rewarded with the position of a minister. He went on to steal over 4 trillion naira. Not only him, I know, but that's how much they stole from the Niger Delta ministry under this criminal. Today, he is the Senate President. And God, man, no. But they celebrated him though. They are from his own state that's controlled by PDP. They had the local government election. And out of the 31 local government areas, 30 was declared for PDP. Single one. His own local government was left for him. So APC has 1 local government in Akwa Ibom, and PDP has 30 local government areas. So they celebrated it in the Senate today.
Know this problem is a democratic calamity. I don't know what those people that fought to bring about democracy in this country are feeling the way they are feeling now. I know they are sad.
Yes, please don't make us to cry. Because the way the picture you are painting is scary. Are you saying that these local government elections across the entire country, that the elections were all charades?
Mr. President, everybody is surprised that you are able to win your local government. Your APC was able to win. Everybody. Everyone is surprised in the whole nation. In the whole nation. If you don't know, everybody is surprised because it's always 100 over 100. No matter your support in your base, no matter your support in your ward, the result will be written a week before the election. So everybody is surprised, Mr. President. There is nothing like an election at local level. It's now incumbent on us. Well, the likes of Abubakar Rimi, late Bola.
Those are your senators. We'll leave that one. And then I'll remind you that, as I told you before, it is never a rivers without drama. One day, one drama, minimum, is what we have known Rivers State for. One day, one drama, or maybe more. So the House of Assembly guys, loyal to Wike, they stupidly decamped to APC because Wike possibly told them to, so that they could then go ahead and impeach Fubara. They miscalculated. Then they now changed that. No, we did not decamp, despite the evidence of same. So they still claim not. So they went to court in Abuja, where they are now challenged because Fubara is no longer dealing with them. Fubara is now dealing with just his own loyalists, which are just like about 3 assemblymen. One of them is speaker, 2 are members. But whenever they have to sit, like normal House of Assembly members, the Fubara guys, so they will hire other people from the supporters of Fubara. They will fill up the room to make it look like, the assembly. But now only 3 people be assembly members that are loyal to Fubara. So the ones loyal to Wike, so I think they are like 4. The one loyal to Wike, they are 27, plus their speaker. So they're now floating. They're like internally displaced politicians. So Fubara won't deal with them. The House of Assembly has been bombed. It's under renovation. And that's how it's going to remain under renovation for the next 4 years, of course. So they went to court, and the court said they did not decamp. Okay. So they also went to court to say the Fubara's loyalists, who are the assembly of Fubara, they have already passed the 2024 budget. They have passed this list of commissioners. They have been passing everything for Fubara. However, these guys have been left. Nobody speak to them. No money is paid to them. They are just on their own. And they went to court, and another court in Abuja just, a court ruled that they've lost their seat, so they went to appeal. And then the one they appealed now said, no, they didn't, they should still remain. So they went to court again to say, Fubara have to come and work with them now. You need to you need to recognize them as lawmakers for the River State. So a court has now ruled in their favor, appeal court, that Fubara should go and represent the 2024 budget to these guys, to these clowns. That the 2024 budget, Fubara signed, the one that is passed by his own loyal House of Assembly members, is illegal. So they must give it to this guy. And then more.
Everybody heard, and very clearly too, when the justices made it clear that I remain the Speaker of the River State House of Assembly. They emphasized the fact that I was elected on the 5th day of June 2023, and that there has not been any reason to say that I lost my seats because I was never impeached and I was never removed. That emphasis was made by the Court of Appeal today. The Court of Appeal went further to make it clear that there is nothing like any other House of Assembly apart from the House of Assembly under my speakership. That was made clear again today, just like we've always had in previous judgments. Again today, the Court of Appeal made it clear that the governor of Rivers State does not have a budget upon which is governing the state, because the Court of Appeal upheld the judgment delivered by Justice Omotosho, wherein he declared that there is no budget for Rivers State for the fiscal year 2024. What the Court of Appeal has done today is to reaffirm the judgment delivered by Justice Omotosho, and every single matter decided in that judgment by Justice Omotosho was upheld today by the Court of Appeal. So there is no contention whatsoever on the issue of speakership, on the issue of which one is House of Assembly. In fact, the Court of Appeal said today that everything those 3 individuals are doing, that they are doing it in a secret place. Emphasis was made by the Court of Appeal today, and that it is not known to law. In fact, the Court of Appeal went ahead to declare that the actions of the governor are reprehensible. And the Court of Appeal said that the court must not only back, but it must do what? Bite. That was what the Court of Appeal said today. So we're happy that indeed we still have the judiciary that is interpreting our laws the way they should interpret our laws. We are not surprised, because we have always said it, that we stand on the path of the rule of law. We will ensure at all times that we keep to our constitution, obey our constitution and the laws of Rivers State. What we heard today is that the Court of Appeal has once again admonished and scolded the governor of Rivers State. We know, I've always told the media, that the governor has sworn that he has immunity and that he will never obey any judgment. He will never obey judgment from the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, or Federal High Courts. And he will continue to govern or rule Rivers State without following laws of this country. Today, the Court of Appeal emphasized that point and reminded the governor for all his actions that are against the constitution and laws of this country. Everybody heard, and very clearly too, when the justices made it clear that I remain the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. They emphasized the fact that I was elected on the 5th day of June 2023 and that there has not been any reason to.
So anyway, this is just the beginning. You could say, I sometimes do feel sorry. I don't know if that's even true. I'm just like me being human, okay? Sometimes I'm like, how could grown-up men, right, lack scruples, like, you know, they do not even have the balls to weigh issues themselves enough that they will make decisions that, I mean, yeah, you may have godfathers in politics, but there are some certain things that you just have to tell yourself, like, hey, man, this is not a right move, okay? Okay, why don't you let us do it this way? Because I don't think this is right. I don't know. Maybe they felt like if they ever try to correct with a Wike, because I believe these guys actually meet and plan things before they come to public to take action, Rabbi. Like politicians, they meet, they do meetings and say, that's how we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. Tomorrow, you will do this. You will do that. Okay. Like they do sit to plan. Or they don't. They just follow whatever their godfather tells them. Because I don't see reason why you have to like decamp that time that they decamped. Why did you have to do that? You are in PDP. Stay there. Do all your dirty fights inside the place. It will make sense. But to satisfy with a Wike, and they were told that Tinubu will protect them, right? Boom. They joined APC. And it was after that they realized that, no, we shouldn't have decamped. We should have waited, though. But we have already announced it. Let's go to court. Let's go to court and say, no, we didn't. And they have been in court since then. So Fubara, who is following the footsteps of Wike, is ignoring all this court order. It won't be the only person who has done that. Wike disobeyed the court order many times. However, he's banking on a court order that favored his own group. And that is the court order that says these guys have lost their seat. And because of that, he is not going to deal with them. He has no business with them. And if INEC is not going to conduct another election, fine. That's not his own problem. But he is not going to deal with them. And nobody will arrest him. So Rivers State is operating as he wants it to be. It's just like that of Oba Donkey in Edo, who decided to... Oh, I'm gone. I think one of my microphone is off. That happens a lot too, right? Anyway, sorry about that. So yeah, Oba Donkey did it as well to make sure that about 14 House of Assembly members, they were never sworn in. Because according to Oba Donkey, they were loyal to Oshiomole. And since their loyalty was to Oshiomole, it won't give them the room to be threatening him or trying to make his government ungovernable. So he locked them out. Until now that he himself is not going to have the power to do same again. You know? Anyway. I am still looking for this guy that, now that Nigeria don't enter Canal, I'm still looking for this guy that advised Tinubu and wondering why Tinubu is yet to take this advice. Do you know where I can find this guy?
My president, commodification of the Naira. Commodification of the naira. This is Ayode Jubakari Bongoli. My President, Your Excellency, commodification of the naira. Yes. Commodification of the naira, monetary policy. Commodification of the naira, cassava. Use cassava. 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 Commodification of the naira for monetary policy. My President, commodification of the naira. Commodification of the naira. This is Ayode Jubakari Bongoli. My President, Your Excellency, commodification of the naira. Yes. Commodification of the naira, monetary policy. Commodification of the naira, cassava. Use cassava. 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 Commodification of the naira for monetary policy.
Nuisance lele.
Cassava gari, eh? You see cassava gari ewa, eh? So they say the guy is America now. Bongoli. I don't know why Tifnubu didn't take your advice, yo. I want you to remove your name. I'm sorry, to remove Tifnubu from this name, okay, and put your name instead.
Since when I born, you never seen this kind of abuse before. Turubu, I must abuse you. Turubu, number 1, Oguokiyapa. Turubu number 2, Oguokiyama. Turubu number 3, Oguokiya your children. Turubu number 4, Ogugo bury all your family. Turubu is a goat, yo. A goat, yo. Turubu is a goat, yo. And Wausa.
You know? And this one too. Okay, I'll leave that. So now I'm going to go on a short break, okay? So that when I come back, I can take calls. This is going to be your own turn. If you have 1 or 2 things to add to this conversation like everyone else, right? The time to call in is now. The number to call in is WhatsApp call only. Don't try to call directly. Just WhatsApp call only. Go onto your WhatsApp, type in that number, and then dial it. Yeah, you and I could be having a chat in the next 1 minute or 2 when I come back. So everyone else, if you have to go, like the broadcast, okay? Then subscribe to my channel too on YouTube. Yeah, on YouTube. Please do, right? Do you know that we are just about 800 away from the first 100,000 subscribers on YouTube? It took a long time, even though we're supposed to be like about 500,000 people on YouTube, but it is what it is. We love it organic. We want to keep it that way. So that our people won't be here. They here. Not that we're just going to bring out the Tom, Dick, and Harry. People that will kind of be like nuisance, right? On the platform. So yeah, let's keep rolling. And if you really enjoyed this evening, okay, and you haven't really subscribed onto MaiyegunsDiary Politico, do it. Right? Set your notification, set all the notification on. You won't miss anything, okay? I will be back in a minute or 2. And we can wrap it up afterward.
Without you. Jesus is Lord. Without you.
So I have, I hope. Oh, no, I don't. Sorry. I thought I had my first caller right here waiting, but unfortunately the line dropped. So I have my first caller now. Hello there.
Hello, the general.
Yes, sir.
This is Polapenga.
Brother, how are you this early mama? Polapenga from the UAE.
Yes. I'm doing great.
Class.
I'm doing great.
So you are
how are you,
this
sir?
evening? Go on.
Yes, sir. How are you, sir? How is family? Your wife and your
We are
kids?
here. Oh, I'm still like alive, you know, surviving.
I'm always with my good general. Always.
I know.
Like
you know what I look forward to sometimes every time we start or kick off the program, and then you have to type into everybody that this is Maiyegun. That's Polapenga. I do see that. How is the family? How is everyone?
So we are doing great. There is something I saw trending.
Right.
I think on our rise. That was yesterday.
Okay.
Steve Numbu have approved Kenya land, Winner Chapel, to land an aeroplane from anywhere all over the world direct to their church ground.
It's called airstrip. They are expected to complete the construction by 2030. So they won't need to use the airport anymore. Yeah, that's like almost old now. We share that today.
But my opinion is that I don't know, is that right? Because there will be no customs check, no security check on what they are carrying in the plane or private jet.
No, there will be nothing to check. What happened is that it's called privilege, airstrip, private airstrip. People have that. And that is why with what Nigeria has become, right? You know, they will have custom, they will have all these things, okay, but it's mostly going to be based on trust, sort of. So you won't know what comes into Nigeria, and you won't know what goes out. Everything is
because
private.
Because the GO, he was saying that even the members that own the
now it's called private airstrip. There are many in Nigeria now. Do you really think a majority of those with private jets in Nigeria use the airport? Like, I'm asking you this now, just like curiously, okay? Do you know that there are more than over 50 private airstrips in Nigeria? Do you have a clue that there are? Most of your politicians, when they want to run away from Nigeria, they're not going to fly through your airport. Do you know that?
No, sir, I don't know.
You don't know that? Polapenga. Okay, now you do. Okay, there are private airstrips across Nigeria. Do you understand? And they are owned mostly by your politicians. You get. So most of them, they don't need to fly through your airport. Like there are private airstrips. Most of the small goods, see, in Zamfara, they have more than four, like about, it's not just Zamfara, right? That axis, they have like about 4 to 5 different private airstrips that are not known to everybody like this. All those mineral resources they are taking from these terrorists that are terrorizing the place, right? Most of those stuff, they are smuggled through those private airstrips. They just need to build a single landing, runway. Sure, you get now.
Yeah, because what I'm
thinking
is that maybe Tipunumbu will be dealing with some of the members of the churches that owns the private jet to bring in drugs,
Nigeria is not a real place, but I tell you this thing now, right? See, in Zamfara alone, we have more than 2 private airstrips, right? Where they are smuggling the mineral resources that those terrorists are actually taking and killing people for in Zamfara alone. But they are like not open.
We learn a lot. We learn a lot from you. That is why we always say that we are.
Now you know.
Yeah, we learn a lot.
Nigeria is
we learn a lot
place.
from you.
I tell you.
Yeah, and my second point is that you see this party of a team. You know what APC is trying to do. You know, Tipunumbu, like every day I call him. I used to tell you this. Tipunumbu rule Nigeria like it's not like is the head. They have the other branches, you know. So he makes sure that every part of the branches are doing happy. They are very happy. They are well paid. You know, he's trying to destabilize other parties in Nigeria, like PDP, Labour Party, so that come 2027 there will be no opposition.
And now, people with all the talk
there will be no opposition. You see, look at Abure, look at Abure. Abure conducted convention in a hotel without even informing some people, without even informing INEC.
No.
But yet, court said that he's chairman because the court, Nigerian court are working with the Chief Numbu. They are supporting him. They are working with him. So they are trying to bring in fight into the Labour Party, bring in fight just like Wike is doing to PDP. There will not be composition like to fight.
That's why by the time they finally get rid of him, it will be too late to even use the party for election. Watch out.
Exactly. And this bigotry of a thing, I tried to ship in the last time I called it, but my network was not stable. You see this bigotry of a thing, like Erofai in Araizo, he will bring the ball to the table. He doesn't care. He will say it the way it is. He has said it that the is the one in control. He's in charge. He's the one paying the people that is doing this bigotry in Benin, in those states.
Yes.
In Yoruba land, it is Sonwiku and his deputy. But they will come to Araizo, they will deny it.
And now,
you know why in Imo State, the deputy man. My mom had to smuggle my. Because you know why? They are killing our youth in East by Hope Uzojo. So my elder brother had to run it because they killed somebody after my house in the village. They killed a young.
I've got this report from the
so they are trying to eliminate all the evil youth. Anybody that is doing well, you are healthy, and
I'm still just putting together all my evidence on that before I can come to the public and talk about it more. I've spoken about that in the past, but there is so much going on right now.
My mom has to smuggle my brother. That was last 2 days to Lagos because they're killing the youth in East.
Yeah.
They're killing the youth in East.
Going after all the innocent villagers because they said some unknown gunmen, they shot at soldiers, they ambushed them, and then they came back. They didn't go after the gunmen, they went after the villagers, and they have been shooting and killing them as I speak. Well, I need more before I can speak more on it, and I hope I get more enough by tomorrow, and I can raise further along, like as we do. Pulapenga, let me take another one, brother. Thank you so much, though. We're still having problem with that, your line, but I'm glad that it was clear enough, at least, for us to, sorry, I do have another caller. But yeah, I know some of you probably will be like, really? So you don't know that there are private, not even private, you can call something private airstrip, where people land their plane and fly out of Nigeria. They fly into Nigeria, they fly out of Nigeria without using your airport. Like, some of you don't know that. Most of the gold or other resources that they found their way to Dubai, to UAE, they were not smuggled through the airport. Do you know what amount of Nigerian gold from Oshun, from Zamfara, from few places that were flown out of Nigeria that are currently in Dubai, that have been kind of like refined in Dubai, and they are ending up in America, in the UK. They are Zamfara gold. They are gold from these bloody zones in Nigeria. They didn't smuggle them through the airports. They smuggled them through all this, all these secret airstrips. So if Kenaland says they have approved their own, at least it's official, you can say they have official airstrip. There are so many unofficial airstrips in Nigeria. Nigeria no get here radar to track the planes that goes in and out. And even if they do, the level of corruption in that place, right, will make some of them never to announce it. Nigeria is not a real place, but if you know what they go down in that place, hello.
Yeah, hello, Maiyegun. How are you doing?
I'm very well, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'll always say, keep chipping at the tree.
I will.
The falling of enough people are beginning to see that the tree is being chipped down. It's been chopped down gradually. You're like a boxer in round 1 going 12 rounds. You're probably halfway through the fight.
They still have a long way to go. But yeah.
In your eyes, long way to go. But for every disciple you create, you've created multiplied disciples. So that's how it works.
Thank you.
And a lot of people are coming up. I think without people like you, people will not know about Very Dark Man. Very Dark Man has come again, has increased the radar from a different angle. Before it was Nnamdi Kanu screaming. Then Igboho came and screamed his own. Then the northern people that they took their share people, they screamed their own. The southern Kaduna screamed their own. So when people talking about airstrip are actually very, very funny. What we don't understand is ask yourself, all the helicopters and private airlines they have in Nigeria, where did they park them?
You really think everything is actually passing through your airports?
Thank you. So, and if you ask yourself, how do those people get supply arms? How do arms get? Didn't you remember when during Jonathan time when they said one pastor took his private jet from Nigeria to go to South Africa to buy arms for the government? So how did that happen? Which airport did they fly from? People are not asking those questions. So it's gradually. You begin as you're chopping down the tree, the dots will be connected to the point where the inevitable become the reality. My own is when you concern Asari Dokubo, like I said, I'll keep telling people, Nigeria is being partitioned among members of the gang. What they want to do is they want to have the big boys in Abuja, the fellow boys in the state, then they now control it that way. So what basically they're trying to do now, for example, Tinubu and his crew control all of Southwest. Whether you like it or not, they determine who becomes a governor, who becomes a position of power anywhere within the Southwest at the moment. If you refuse, they rig you out or they force you out. That's right. Oshomole has delivered this polling unit in Edo State. What's his name? Uzodimma has delivered this polling unit in Imo State. And is beginning to change the population cycle of Imo State.
Have you noticed that too? Like the moment he became the Supreme Court governor of Owerri, it opened the floodgate of terrorism into the eastern part of Nigeria, and we have seen the effect of that today.
It was a deliberate attempt to put him there. Look at the nature of how anybody that gets into power in Nigeria. When they get into power, they don't deserve it. So because you don't deserve it, you do as you're told. And you do as you're told by making sure that the people in your state are punished. Let's start with the case of Lagos. On a good day, the Lagos state governor will not be Lagos state governor.
No.
On a good day, Uzodimma will not be governor of Imo State.
No.
On a good day, the guy that won in Edo will not have won that election.
Never happened. No.
On a good day, the guy in Rivers will not have been the governor of Rivers.
As well.
And they're trying to, the only thing is that he's trying to pretend like he's not being controlled. But that was Wike's delivery of his polling unit to join the club in Abuja. Senate President deliver Cross River and Akwa Ibom State. That is his polling unit. It's how the more you control, the more power you get at the center. And what they are trying to create is like a Godfather system of cartel where the big boys are at the top, they make order, and the guys at the bottom have to obey.
The hierarchy, yes.
Yeah. And the big boss at the moment is Tinubu. He controls more state than any other person. Followed by Akpabio. The next place they're going to target now in 2027 election, they tried it in Kano, it didn't work. They're going to start breaking the northern states into units
as well
and appointing their own people. Don't be surprised that it's not going to be APC winning election in the north. They will find another party. See how they did in River State, APP or whatever they call it. They'll just find one party that don't have any. They'll just give it to us and say, guy, this is the party all of you should go to. This is where we're going to rig you into. It looked like we didn't win all the election, but another party won it. Now, one person that control, the person they see as a figurehead, they will send him to Abuja. Either give him one ministerial appointment or something and keep him there. That is how they intend to control it. But the problem they're going to have now is when the presidency goes back to the north, and these guys in the south want to show that we have more power, we've been there, we could deliver before you guys. Who takes over from Tinubu? That is where your message will collide with the people that are aggrieved inside the system. And you begin to see the breakdown. Like I said, PDP did 16 years. These people are going to complete 16 years in 2027. By then, you start seeing the crack. And that crack will be so visible because the problem was that during PDP, the military had power. Now we don't have military, we don't have police, we don't have any form of uniform control.
Resistance anymore.
Thank you. So everybody has a gun. The only problem is that people have no license their gun. And then you're going to start seeing possibly people from this Biafra people will come in their own guns. People from the north will import their own guns from the north. And before you know it, it becomes free for all fight. Then you now understand that those people that think that they are in control, blood actually flow in their body. You see all of them run away. Because talking right now, people like you talking, isn't going to change anything. It's those people they're paying 30,000, 40,000 in the name of police officers. Watch, police officers' income is dwindling. Let me explain to you in economics data. The number of cars on the road have dropped because of fuel price.
That's right.
The number of bribes they normally take has dropped. The revolt in paying the bribe has reduced. And now once this crack start happening, these guys already have the gun. They cannot feed their parents. They cannot feed their children. They cannot feed their girlfriends. It just takes a group of ragtag bandits to say, you know what, we had enough. Let's start killing people from our own state. Before you know it, the Somalian case will become the case of Nigeria. Yes. It becomes a domino effect, just like the case of NSAS. But the NSAS this time around is being done by people in uniform across the country with guns paid for by the same system to protect the same system. And that is the final revolution.
Thank you very much again. Okay, because people like yourself who always kind of speak in this level of parable and all that. Sometimes you are considered as people that are speaking ahead of time. And most of what you will say, a lot of people will easily, conveniently dismiss it. But it is something that people with intelligence shouldn't dismiss. Because, sir, 10 years ago, when Nnamdi Kanu told us that some people will come and they will start killing us and their leaders will protect them, it was sounding like a madman then. A lot of people felt like it's impossible. What is he talking about? Yeah, it's not going to happen. That's never going to happen. Today, they are calling Nnamdi Kanu a prophet. So if anybody has a chance of hearing this, do not dismiss any of it.
Maiyegun, you're a prophet in your own right. You've been complaining from when you were in your kitchen.
That's right.
About the electoral system. What is happening today? The problem in the world is that it's like going to school. It takes you around 10, 15 years to go to school. But the reward will come in later.
That's right.
Because then your experience plus your education come into one. Then you start seeing the money. But when you're going to school, you're like, why am I studying 1 plus 1? Why do I even want to know this color, that color? That is what is happening now. You are schooling the people. You are educating them. You are educating them. The problem in life is whether the government choose to put history in the system or they refuse to put it, somebody will put the history there. Nnamdi Kanu has released the history of Nigeria before it became Nigeria. People like you have expanded on it, even reduced the map. There's a map you used to show of all the zones of Nigeria from the north all the way. Sharia north. I have a copy of that map. I took it from your system and put it on my system and put it on my house. Those are
so detailed. It's the closest to explain to us, right? Who we are.
It's so detailed.
It is so detailed.
When you thank you, that's it. That's it there. What you're gonna find out now is some people went to school, never saw this map. Even me, when I went to school in Africa, I never saw this map. We that went to school in the 80s and late 70s, never saw a map like this. So it's a whole different version of education you're giving us now. And I can tell you, the more you're posting this map everywhere on Twitter and all the platform, you may not think that it's going somewhere, but people begin to question, wait, where did my state fall in? Where did my language fall in? Now people start comparing population of, okay, this place puts Yoruba compared to one Luxembourg in Europe here. What is the population of that place compared to my place? Why do I have to be part of this place? Now you're beginning to question that inbuilt psyche of people where I feel that we Africans have been, I will not say I'm not generalizing,
intentionally miseducated.
Intentionally miseducated to believe that we must live as one. They keep telling us our unity and diversity. Come to Europe. How many countries have unity and diversity? Tell me one country in Europe that has unity and diversity.
There's nothing like that.
Even in America, that say unity and diversity, everyone must speak English. Once you get there, you must speak English. You come to England, there, you must speak English. So why are you telling me unity and diversity? In Nigeria, you don't have a uniform language. The moment you cross from Lagos now, close up past Kogi, you need silence to speak Hausa, because otherwise it'll be difficult for you to communicate with the next person. So and you find out that how come a state in Nigeria is called Niger, another country up north close to Nigeria is called Niger? Doesn't that ring a bell to you?
That is called Niger. I mean, our own is called Niger. Meanwhile, the one that shares border with us is called Niger. Why?
Thank you. So why? Look at the spelling. Look at the spelling, and we're just next door border. So if you sit down and look at all those things, you find out that you're doing the work. The most difficult part is this part you're doing, education.
Thank you
in the
so
next
much,
people that started listening to you in 2010, 2009, before the Obasanjo last second election, started listening to you up to now. You will not understand. They have their own children. They are not educating their own children. And those children, by the next 10 years now, this country was never meant to be one. Gen Z never knew there was an amalgamation until people like you and Nnamdi Kanu came around. So it's beginning to permeate into the system. All those things you hide, you can never hide light from darkness. The moment, no matter how hard you try to hide it, it will come up. Just watch. You see Asari Dokubo, what they're trying to do now is to align him to one side. Asari Dokubo was supposed to be the person that Wike used against the governor in that election. But the governor was clever. He paid him off. Now they're immediately telling him to come outside to come and fight. Why didn't they call him since when he was recruiting people? Did they forget that he was recruiting people? Did he not show video of him recruiting people? It's because he has not done the will of what they want from Abuja. The guys in Abuja are not saying, listen, we can sanction you. And they're using the military to talk that talk now. The military guys, all of them, if you look at them, none of them has actually been into any battle.
No, but they are generals.
They can only fight battle. Thank you. They can only fight battle against civilians like me and you.
Yes.
Send them to Russia. Let them go and try battle and come back. You will know that when they hear gunshots, if they come back, they will tell you, Oga, please, this thing we are fighting, we need to find a way to resolve it amicably.
Thank you so much. I always possibly should be looking forward to having you on every now and then to kind of rejig our minds as well, like I do all the time. Okay, thank you, sir, and you have a good evening. Okay, God bless you. It's interesting, isn't it? I know that MaiyegunsDiary Politico is more than just a talk show, right? Depends if you are indeed interested in learning what they do not want you to learn, because information is information is power, very, very powerful, and they will do anything and everything to make sure that you do not have access to the type of information that can liberate your mind, information that can make you question your existence and question what you have been taught before, to learn, relearn, unlearn most of what they taught us. Because like I said, and I will keep saying it, about this contraption is that if all of us, with what we have come to know about Nigeria, if we are being honest, nobody should conveniently just dismiss and say, we are one, Nigeria is going to be this or that. No. That is not the answer. People can be together if they want to be. But whoever asked us if we want to be together, do you have any record where they asked all of us if we wanted to be together or be in this contraption? There was no record. And that's why they are so afraid to allow us to actually ask ourselves, do you want to be part of Nigeria? Do you want to be no, yes, no? Nobody wants us to ask. No there.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Yeah, fine. My name, Wale calling from Canada.
from Canada. Please.
I was just listening to your show where you were talking about what is going to happen during the election, before the election. and after the election.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. There was this thing I was also thinking, because people have been calling for the head of Mahmoud Yakub, and it seems as if Tinubu is not going to sack him, or change him,
right?
As the INEC chairman. But I let people understand that it's a game, and what they are trying to do is that they will use Mahmoud to win all the single election. I mean, the post elections that are coming up, they've done the Edo one, the
off-season elections, right?
Yeah, off-season election. Yes. So they are going to use Mahmoud for it. Then when it's a year to election, or probably some months to election, then they will have gotten another Mahmoud that they will use.
The waiting room to take over and make everybody Mahmoud said feel good that he's been removed.
Yeah, they make so they used to be happy, like, oh, they've changed Mahmoud at last. We can have a free and fair election, but it's a lie. It's a lie. They're going to use that, because if they change Mahmoud now, it's going to expose them, because they will not want to lose the elections that are off season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people will like, oh, this Mahmoud, if they can remove this Mahmoud, only this Mahmoud, I will vote during the election. But it's a lie.
I will vote.
They're gonna,
they may go and look for somebody that will look popular enough that everybody will say, oh, he's got credibility. Oh, I know him. He's a professor in Clinical University.
Exactly.
Tight.
So people will not know. People will not know the secret, because it's the first election and it's the general election. So the presidential election, so they will use that person to win the presidential election. After the presidential election, you guys can go to courts, and they are there. So that will be the trick they're going to use. So it's going to be people should not fall for it. Like you said, any political party presidential candidate that has an interest of people in mind,
yes,
should right now call for protest. Because if they take their people, like I'm talking people that especially Peter Obi, that has 6 million followers. Yes, he should make use of them now.
Join them together. That's going to be like 13 million people. Call them onto the streets and make a demand.
Yes.
A very, very sweeping demand. And then you can go to election after that. Maybe so.
Exactly. That will even make him more popular, because right now, even his followers are saying that they don't trust. Like they are tired of what Peter Obi's calmness. That is too calm for them. They are looking towards you, like, because they know that if you have 6 million, you should be able to, they should be able to feel your impact. I mean, the opposition party, which is the APC.
Like, speak for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody's suffering right now. They can't even see you.
Yes.
The most you are doing right now is just to possibly once in a while condemn the action.
Yeah, you are doing like Atiku. Atiku that is always every 4 years you come. You shouldn't behave like Atiku, because Atiku is not he's just like them. So if Peter Obi really wants to change things, then he should buckle up and go to the streets and let the people know that he has the interest. Yeah.
Or if you are waiting for this Tinubu to do a reform, electoral reform, you want him to do something that will give him take the power away from him. He won't do it.
Yeah.
Yes,
he won't do it. He won't do it.
He won't do it. So Alex, thank you very much. Okay?
All right, thank you.
You have a good one.
All right, thank you.
It seems like the young man or the wind there is almost like I want to be on the phone too.
Yes.
The winter,
yes.
You have a good one.
Getting cold. Yeah. All right.
So the line is pretty much still opened. Okay. All you have to do is use the number on your screen, and you are like having a chart like my last few callers. Okay. And also, if you haven't really liked the broadcast, you should do that before it is too late. So we only have just about half an hour to go. Yeah, half an hour can sound like a long time. Some of you will wait for the last minute before you start trying to get through. And then it will be too late. I know sometimes, right, a lot of us you enjoyed listening, which I understand. You enjoy listening to the charts, left, right, and center, the contributions. Then last minute, you're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to say something to that person we just spoke now. and then it will be too late. I have Austin. Hi.
Maiyegun.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Baba?
I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm
So
fine.
I have you again tonight, which is great.
Yeah, definitely.
So here we are.
Yeah, I listen. Like I told you, I listen every day because because of the environment I find myself every time. Sometimes the things I really wanted to contribute, I can't make it. I can't make the contribution because of where I might be somehow noisy or maybe rowdy or crowded. So that's the reason why sometimes I get quiet.
Whenever you
so anyway,
you can always squeeze it in as well, which is great.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, everybody, I give so much kudos to you. The reason why I give kudos to you because you are doing a wonderful work, and the work you are doing, maybe now you won't really understand it, but it's penetrating. It's penetrating inside the minds of the ones that really want to get to be educated, that really want to know what the future holds for us. Sometimes it's said, and it seems like it will never happen. But at the end of the story, it will come to pass. And when it comes to pass, people start calling names. Oh, you're a prophet. I ever said
they make it look like one is a prophet when it is not that so. It's so easy to put one and two together and get to predict it.
Yeah, when people have foresight and can read the time and understand the future and understand how it goes, more especially people that masters Nigerian politics, because what I have learned from you is that you know really how Nigerian politics works. Because all the whole stuff you have spoken about Nigerian politics, there was none that has ever come to an existence. All of them have reality. Yeah, not since I've known you. They predicted, however you said it. Look at just the concluded election that one was that on Rivers.
I mean, well, that's the latest one. It's easy. I tell people it's so easy. You know what I mean? But sometimes people feels like the way they feel, though, right? But yeah.
Even in Amnesty TV, Rufai was asking the man from Rivers, how come that people just put on few votes back when the whole local government? How come? So he couldn't give an accurate response about it. But that's it. So that is number one. Number two, people are talking about remove Mahmoud. If you remove Mahmoud, whom are you going to put? Who is going to replace? Who? Do you think that Tinubu will remove Mahmoud and pick an IPF member or Yoruba Nation member?
Well,
people that are fighting for
man, that will come and do the dirty job. You know, these guys can be very, very funny. Just say it, though.
Yeah. Look at the second in command to Yakubu. Isn't that Okoyo? Festus Okoyo. Wasn't that from Anambra State? Yeah. That he was busy gallivanting, roaming up and down, castigating all the right thing. He was castigating everybody. He was nowhere. He was everywhere.
Kind of explaining.
Yeah, he was everywhere.
It was actually one of the people that some people said convinced them that election was going to be a real election last year. I was like, really?
Exactly.
How did he do well? I never believed in him though, but looking at some of his media appearances, talking about beavers, talking about this, that, like he was able to convince a lot of people that, man, it was going to be a good election. I said, ow, I wasn't convinced.
So
the rest is history.
Now, very simply, they have used him and dumped him.
Yes.
So if we are talking about change Yakubu, have you seen any ministry in Nigeria or governor or senator or whoever that is changed and the next person that come do better than him? Have you seen anyone? No one. Never. So if you think we are talking about the guy that was during Jonathan, what was his name? that come out now to start talking nonsense. The INEC Jega, we were saying, yeah, exactly. We were saying, Jega has finished us. Jega has finished us. When Yakubu comes, Yakubu stamped it. Yakubu make us to know that Jega is a boy, it's a small boy. Yeah, he is in region. So, talking about Yakubu, removing Yakubu will not change anything. We are addressing what is not important. If you want to treat wound, you don't treat wound from up. Go from the root. Let us, every Nigeria, every sensible Nigeria that really wants his future to move on. All of us, we start conversing for division of Nigeria. Through that division, if we don't get division and get true federalism, okay, it will be better than what we did. Yeah, that's the system that we practice.
What we have been up at
yeah,
right now.
Exactly. Because what we are doing now will never lead to anywhere. You forget all these things, all these shenanigans we are doing. We are talking about this. It will not go anywhere. You have listed all these things you read now. People will think it will be it's a joke. And when the time comes, it will play exactly how you read it. It will play. We are here. Your platform is Maiyegun Diary. You keep the diary. But when the time will come, the diary will play to everyone. And everybody will understand what it is. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't see the reason why people keep on talking about looking for solution where there is no solution. There is no solution in Nigeria. As far as Nigeria is concerned, there is no solution. The earlier we realize this, the better for us. Nigeria will profit nobody. The common man, the middleman, the poor man, it is not for Nigeria. Nigeria is only profited to the Westerners and the criminals that we have as politicians. That's it. Look at what we are reading about Abadi. Somebody like Abadi. In a normal country, can Abadi be a local government chairman?
No.
A criminal.
He's a criminal.
Yeah. He is only there to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Even when you want to protest, you say, let them go and protest. We will be here and they will protest.
Exactly.
And everybody will take it lightly. Nobody will think about it. What we are care about is to remove the no. And secondly, there is one strong point you made now that you said, if P2P, Article, if they really care and want to change Nigeria, this is the time to call their supporters. Let's go to this.
Yeah, not during the election. It is now. If truly now, all of us in Nigeria, as they normally say, nobody should be afraid to take care of anything against these guys. Nobody should be afraid.
Of course. True. Of course. No, of course. If 10,000 people or 1,000 people or 500 people come on the street, it will be easy for the military to disperse them or police to disperse them. If we troops out in millions, if you say come out in millions and said, okay, we'll shut it down. They did it. They shut Japan down. All of them came out and did their own. So why is it that during their own time
soldiers on them and start killing them?
Yeah.
They can't.
How do you think that the soldiers is going to shoot about 20 or 30 million people? Where are they going to start? It happens in Russia before. In Russia before, the president ordered them to disperse the protesters. And when the military came out and saw the protesters, they are more than 20 million.
They have to watch.
The military,
they are the ones that
they knelt down. They knelt down and said, we won't do this. So why is it that when it comes to our own people, the fight we're supposed to fight, we don't fight it. We ask God to fight it for us. And we go and fight for God's fight. So that is why I said yesterday, I still don't believe in my own theory that it's not God that created us. Because we don't fight our battle. Yeah, what is going to change in Nigeria?
This angel you mentioned now, Austin, right? This one is sort of a funny thing, right? This angel you mentioned. They said, if to say heaven is peaceful, how come angels can carry sword?
Oh, God bless you. God bless you.
Like, okay, to say, as they tell us, so now if you say, everywhere, everybody must be on guard. If you don't fight for anything, you don't get anything, forget it. So if as they tell us, why are the angels carrying sword?
Carrying sword. Do you know even Jesus, the Jesus that the Christians are talking about today? Do you know that his followers was carrying sword?
And now, all of them they carry dagger, sword, small one, big one. And now, nobody they lose guard.
Even when they came to, according to Bible, when they came to arrest Jesus, Peter used his knife. He didn't want him to bring the knife.
They cut off
He didn't
here
want
of one of the guys, now.
Of one of the guys. So when it comes to our own, we just take everything like stupidly and say God will fight for us. And there nobody will fight for you.
No God is fighting for anybody. No Messiah is coming to fight for you. Nobody.
So the last thing I wanted to say, sorry if I'm taking this to time. You know, somebody mentioned, the first caller said he heard that Tinubu has approved these people to using their private jet to land directly. During Jonathan, a pastor's jet was used to go and purchase arms. A pastor.
And that pastor,
in South Africa.
Yeah,
in South Africa. He was a pastor.
Yes.
And he was preaching for peace. His private jet, was used to purchase arms. So don't ever think that all these pastors that have private jet, they are using it for government is sponsoring them. They bring arms. How do you think that governors always have arms? Where did they get the arms? Is arms something like biscuit where you can buy?
They just imported it inside a container.
No way. Majority of the governors, the Nigerian governors, the state governors, have private jets.
Yes.
Do you think that their private jet land at the airport? Nobody can trust them. They do whatever they feel like to do. They bring arms. If you see Wike is banging his head, shaking his head like old chicken, what do you think? Where do you think he's counting for? He's counting his voice. Who gave them arms?
Glad that
how did they get it?
Some people have actually unlearned that tonight, because some people felt like I never even knew that. Now you know. Nigeria is a free for all.
So this is Nigeria is a free for all. It's the first state. So there is nothing we can do to repair it. Let's forget all these things we are doing and stop deceiving ourselves and talking about if we get a good leader. Good leader from where?
Okay.
From
what?
From where? From where? Where are you going to get the good leader?
How? How can a poor system? How can a rigged system produce a good leader? How? How is it going to happen?
Good leader. No way. Check the whole Igbo land, the whole position we have in Igbo land. They are criminals.
Yes.
The whole we have
like
in Western side.
Nigeria too. Yep.
Yeah. They are criminals. So where do you want to get the good leader? Where? So let's stop deceiving ourselves and talk about the reality. Maiyegun, I will stop here. Thank you so much for giving me this time.
Thank you. Okay. You enjoy the rest of the evening. Okay. You have a good one, Baba. Thank you so much. We are wrapping it up little by little. We only have just about, we only have just about 20 minutes to go, max. Now, if you want to still be part of this, the ideal time is now. Okay. I saw your post somewhere, right? It's from Remi Werekwe. Rats. According to her, she said, people are not saying what God is doing in the land. Nations across the globe want to do business with us. We know that subsidy has been removed, but with God on our side, in the next 2 years, Nigeria will be greater than this. He is meant to be a pastor, a redeemed pastor. Which countries in the world are trying to do business with Nigeria? That 16 to 17 months of our husband being in charge of the contraption, they have only been able to attract $29.5 million. Giant of Africa. That's how much they've been able to attract to Nigeria. On the other hand, they have floated your Naira, devalued it further, and the Naira has lost more than 70% of its value between the time her husband took charge and now, to the point that the only thing her husband has been able to attract to Nigeria is debt, generational debt, $6.5 billion from one lender alone. And that has had a further destructive effect on Nigeria. No country wants to do business with Nigeria. No investor wants to do anything with Nigeria. If they have been willing to do, your situation would have been better than this. Nigeria continued to sink. Or rats, a pastor, continues to lie about it. And then they are telling you that in 2 years' time. 2 years' time? Really? What does that even mean? In 2 years' time. Now, if you say, all of you should kind of hold your breath. wherever you are going through right now, in 2 years' time, if you make it that far, okay, you will begin to see the changes. You begin to see the difference in your lives. Really? Right. So, oh, I just lost that as well. I have a caller there that just was supposed to pop on. So yeah, we have, normally I think we only have just about 10 minutes to go. Although we started late. We started 10 minutes late. So I would say probably 15 minutes officially. Time to go. Okay. And if you are still with us, yes, you can be part of this. And also remember, if you haven't really liked this broadcast, please do share it as well. Okay. Yeah, then subscribe onto the channel. I'll take it. Probably 2 minutes break. I'll be back in a minute.
In the time of poverty like this, the economic principle of Yusuf is what everybody should apply in his own lives. Eat little, save more. You don't know what is happening. Kese la nri lowo, makasakasa timbo. $1 was just 800 naira or thereabout a couple of months ago. Now $1 is over 1,000 naira. How much will it go? Nobody knows. Tori to nse falafulu. Ogba salary ikilawa. Igberaga week. Ogbera resanle like. Eat little and save more. Aye ta nje chicken kola wa yi ma. Aye shawarma ko ma. Aye ice cream ko. Mugari. Jẹ pama gbàgbé ta doctor sọ pé kò ní nutritional value. Kí ló fẹ́ nutritional value pẹ̀lú kíni? Jẹ pama mugari orí ẹja wallahi kò rẹ́rìn. Bó bá lọ ṣe falafolo pẹ̀lú owó ìyà ó jẹ ọ́ bá kẹ́. This is the time to save more. Kálukú ló maintain salary school àwọn ọmọ nísìn. I started by paying 25,000 naira per term 2 years ago. Last year 50,000. Wallahi, this year is 100,000 per child. Now imagine having 4 kids going to school and I have to pay over 1.2 million naira in a year. Divide my salary in a year by 2. How much will remain? Gas is in Benley. Pampers in Benley. Èmi náà sọ ọmọ boy yín ra fìlà yín ra sọ. Nbo ni ká fi gbogbo yín sí ìbáradà Allah. So this is the time to apply the basic principle of economics of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Save more, eat a little. Somebody told me there is nothing to save. I told him you are a liar. Where do you get money to buy data and check Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram? You are on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, on WhatsApp. You are everywhere. And you say there is nothing to save. The money you use to buy data, save it. Do you need data to survive? Kí data ọ̀tọ̀ dé kí là ń lò? Ṣé àgbáyé ni? Oh, gbogbo ala máa jẹ breakfast. Àsìkò tó ní kálukú máa jẹ tiẹ̀ ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ni. Súnmọ́ bìlà. Oh.
Just so you know. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it would be probably appropriate at this point to call it a night. I think I feel exhausted at this point. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone, for your time. And to those who probably just feel like they should call in at this point, I'll say keep it. We shall continue tomorrow. Okay, thanks so much for spending your evening with me. I will see you again tomorrow. So to the callers, to the commenters, to the sharers, and then others as well, right? Thank you for your time and good night from here.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary Maiyegun #1. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary Maiyegun #1. Maiyegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí. Maiyegun Diary Maiyegun #1. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Maiyegun àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. bó bá ṣe eré àní Maiyegun máa wí. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Maiyegun Diary Politico. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. lórí Facebook. Maiyegun ti dé. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. lórí YouTube. Maiyegun ti dé. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. kí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí bá. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. òkúra olóṣèlú. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran. wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran. kì máa yí ṣeré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. kì máa yí ṣeré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran. tẹnitẹni ọmọ Maiyegun ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹ̀hùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀gọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. àìsíwọ̀lú ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o. Ẹ̀yin bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ̀rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
Allow the children it's okay. Off your mind, it's okay. She off your mind,
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mind. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary Politico, yeah, yeah. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. This one not the off in mind, oh, yeah, yeah. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. And in the touchlight every corner, oh, yeah, yeah. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you ladder, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary Politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not they off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary Politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This man not the off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't.
Hello there.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀, làmọ̀ tó lódodo. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀, làmọ̀ tó lódodo. Maiyegun ti dé ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun dá wa sí.
Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Maiyegun Live. Maiyegun today. Thank you so much for joining me again as for the second time today, I would say. Read the caption of the broadcast this evening. The description of the broadcast as well. Like it, share it, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them that Maiyegun today. From what I have for you this evening, there are statements, right, from some unscrupulous element that are actually representing that contraption. From the zoo army, as some of my pals would love to call them. Nigerian army are now engaging in a social media spat with Asari Dokubo, a supposed ally of theirs. And then I am going to play back to you what Asari said, and then what is the response of the supposed Nigerian army. Remi Werepe, Remi Ahmed, Tifnumbu Rats. She has kind of come out to say, listen, I know a lot of you are going crazy right now in this contraption. But my husband is not responsible for your sufferings or your hardship. And you should take care of your mental health as well. And you can give him extra 2 more years. Share it. Thank you. Mutide, and sorry for the late start again, right? So good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is Maiyegun Live. So this afternoon, the Nigerian army, because this is their spokesperson. Remember that video of Asari Dokubo, right? Where he said the Nigerian army sent 2 gun chopper, 2 helicopters to his house, hovering over his house because of the River State election, local government elections. And then they bragged that he's got what it takes. He has the capacity, that the Nigerian army knows that he has the capacity to face them, that they shouldn't provoke him. Let me play you their video. It was all in response to what he said, the overbearing attitude, the overzealous act of that of Wike on that fateful day. Do you remember this?
Our people, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. As we are talking,
with the video, I'm not bring the video. As I said in the video, that's the video.
Wike's soldiers, Wike's police, whoever, had been flying over my house and my compound in the last 30 minutes with 2 helicopter gunships. I have the capacity to contain them. Nigeria cannot surrender to Wike. Rivers people will not surrender to Wike. Ijaw people will not surrender to Wike. I have the capacity to contain them. And the government knows that I have the capacity to contain them. as I've been containing other people. Let them tell Wike to back off. I am 60 years old. I've never been afraid of death. I've always embraced death. I'd always embraced death. So I am not afraid of death. So all those who are there, when the helicopter is shot down, let nobody blame them. I didn't go and look for the helicopter to shoot them down. I will shoot down the helicopter. I will shoot down the helicopter. I swear by Allah that I will shoot down the helicopter. Whoever is commanding them should be warned that I will shoot the helicopter down. Enough is enough. That Tinubu will hand over Rivers State into slavery. The Wike is nobody. Without this panaflexion, it's nobody. Wike is nobody. Let them remove this thing from him now. I think he has billions. He knows the market. He has bought guns for his men. Let them remove this thing from him. And let us see. Go and vote. I will go and vote. I will vote and you see me vote. Nothing will happen. We vote. Result will be announced. Chairman will be sworn in. And we will see. Chairman will be sworn in and we will see. I don't want to talk too much.
Because it is what Nigeria has become. He happened to be a former terrorist, something that typical Niger Delta who always kind of disagree with me on, or they always do that. Maiyegun, don't say that. They are militants. They are not terrorists. Everybody that raises up arm in a normal country, you get, against the state, right? What they call them is non-state actors, right? And they are the local terrorists. In Niger Delta, a group of these kind of people like Asari and many like that. In 2000 and I think it was in 2008, sorry, 2007, around that time, they became very prominent in Nigeria, where local politicians harmed some young people. Like then, Asari was younger than this. I think he was probably in his early 40s. Maybe he was around 39, 40. No, it should be somewhere around 35, 36. Asari Dokubo. This Asari that is now like older guys, approaching his 60 now, right? So then Asari should be around, no, it should be around 35, 36. Yeah, somehow. And there are many like that. So their grievances at the time was that they were exempted from the proceed, but they are exempted from enjoying the proceed of their God-given resources. That's the crude oil. Listen to this very well. So because of that, for them to have share of that, they harmed themselves. The difference between them and the terrorists we later come to know in Nigeria is that they usually target the oil companies in their region. They would, before then, normally, they will go to all these oil companies. They will go and collect what is called security money from them. So the oil companies will just give them some peanuts. So you take settlement money. That's what they were living off. Until when the when I can't remember the story of how they were taken to Abuja in 2003, or maybe 2003 or 2004. So they were taken to Abuja, and when they saw Abuja for the first time they all left Niger Delta. Some of the young people. So they were told that I'm going to see this Abuja now. Oil money that take build them up. What? Well, Asari Dokubo actually told me that himself though, because he used to be my friend. You don't think? So Asari Dokubo said that when they got to Abuja, as young people then, not these older guys now, they didn't have this much money then. They were so shocked.